Late Show Podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. And often running with, this is not great. Not a great way to start the week, the day. When I laid down last night, I noticed that, my phone says one time, and I actually have old school clock radio, and it was, I hadn't changed it. So it was like 1 hour earlier. So if it's like 10 o'clock, actually, that clock reads 9. So I see 2 times. I go, oh, of course. Yeah, the iPhone will update, but old school alarm clock, I have to go and change it. And then I go, fuck it. I'll know. I mean, I'll just look at it. If it says 3 a.m., I'll know that it's actually a 4 a.m. Famous last words. Because the alarm goes off at 6:30 on the old school clock radio. And I go, God damn. Here we are. We lost an hour because we sprung forward, and it's already daylight at 6:30. Huh. God damn. Typically, it's kind of dark right about now. I mean, you would think that springing forward, is that how it works? Yeah. Because, no, I'm getting it confused. If it were actually 6:30, it would have been dark, but it's 7:30. And, okay, it's one thing for the idiot podcaster who can basically just, I could just come in here and turn the fucking thing on and we're good to go. As long as I get coffee, we can pull it off, which is kind of what happened. But Pooh Bear, okay, so it's actually 7:30. We've slept in 1 hour. And so I'm laying there and I go, Pooh Bear, I have made a big mistake. She goes, what? I go, well, it's actually 7:30 right now. And she goes, what? And she jumps out of bed. Now, she is supposed to be at the bus stop right now to get Ryan off the bus. This one young person is so, attached to Diana that when he starts his day, he has to see her smiling face. Or he sometimes gets a little antsy. Won't get off the bus. She goes, I'm supposed to be there right now. I go, yes. Well, oh boy. So, whew, that was bad. So then she's just rushing to get ready. And she immediately texted one of the folks that she works with and put in the contingency plan. And I think it worked out because she was actually pretty calm about it. I guess time will tell if my pal Ryan there at the school, hopefully he Kenney writes, so Eric ruined a child's day already this morning. Pretty much. Man, I'll seriously, I had that conversation in my head last night. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, but should I change this? No, I'll remember. And I remember I usually wake up several times during the night for whatever, potty break or a dog kicks me or something like that. And I remember each one of those, I looked at the clock and I didn't do the math in any of those moments. Like when it said 2, it was actually 3. I didn't go, oh, but it's actually 3, Eric. No. I didn't for 1 second remember that clock was not accurate. The next time I remembered that clock wasn't accurate is when it was time to get up. Not good. Not good at all. It's just one of those things. The weekend, okay, we had, it was birthday celebration day for Pooh Bear yesterday. And I think after all of these years, I have finally figured out the appropriate way to cook a steak perfectly. When it comes to cooking steak, I prefer to cook it on a charcoal grill. It just tastes better. And I know that this just came up coincidentally on our world famous Free Bear and Hot Wings show, because when I was reviewing for who are these Zanes, for who are these Free Beers, Hot Wings did this on his show. He actually this is crazy. It's like, gas is the only way to cook a steak, because if you cook a steak on charcoal, it tastes like lighter fluid, and it doesn't. The lighter fluid burns off completely 2 minutes after you light it, and that just gets the charcoal lit. And then 35 minutes later, when the charcoal is ready, then you put the food on. Doesn't matter. I don't actually use lighter fluid to start my charcoal. I use one of those chimney things. You put the fucking charcoal in the metal deal, and then there you put paper under it, and you light it, and the chimney ignites, and it's really quite spectacular. It's a great design. Just the air going through it keeps that flame in the paper lit, and then that's it. It's the easiest thing in the world. And so I light up my chimney, I put my coals on. Now, the problem I've had before is I usually put my steak on before when those coals are too hot. You really got to let them burn so that they're starting to almost fall apart. You go too hot on that fucking thing, and the second you put that steak on, it's going to be like the Trinity test in the New Mexico desert. Oppenheimer, that's on my mind, because that Oppenheimer won everything. He won a bunch of awards at the Oscars last night. Oppenheimer won like every award there is. Best animated feature, Oppenheimer. But that's what happens to my steaks, or your steaks, when you put them on too early. I have pulled the steaks out 90 minutes before I'm even putting them on the grill, and they drop down to room temperature. I put oil on them, and then I put my seasoning on it, both sides and the edges. I like roll the steak in the seasoning, put some tin foil on it, leave it in the corner of the room till they warm up. I saw this on some TikTok. Never ever put like ice cold meat or refrigerated meat right on the grill. Big mistake. Don't know why, but that's what I'm told. And people who know, that's what you do. Nowadays, you pretty much can have the rules for your life on TikTok videos and YouTube videos. You can live a better life because of these things. I can pull a motor out of a car now. Not really. Let's see, how many steaks did I put on? 4, 5, 6, 7. I put 7 steaks on. And, okay, I've read, they said, okay, and they all want to be medium steaks. Medium, just, whatever, how much pink is in a medium steak. And then there's this test you can do where, you push the palm of your hand if you just touch this part of the palm of your hand, that's raw meat. That's the feeling of raw meat. And then if you put your thumb and your index finger together, that's like rare. And this is medium rare. And then thumb and the ring finger is medium. And then thumb and the pinky is well done. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. There is no way that would work for me. It would all feel the same. And I just know me. I don't know. I just struggle with it. To me, doing all this shit that I just did, touching that part of the palm of my hand, they all felt the same. Like, I'm not going to do the no. And then another search brings back, just for a 22 millimeter steak, which is just about a 1-inch steak, you can do time. Chris says just use the thermometer. I would, but I don't like doing that, because by the time I get the goddamn thermometer in there and the juice is pouring out of it, and then I read it wrong. So I go, I'm going to do time. I do 2.5 minutes, and then rotate them, not flip them, rotate them. And then another 2.5 minutes, 5 aside. 5, flip, 5. And by God, they came out ideal. Everybody's steak was perfect. All medium, every single one of those. And then I pulled them off the grill, and I let them sit for the required amount of time. So I guess you're supposed to let that steak sit for like 10 minutes. And again, this is all, I'm an amateur. Because I guess all of the juice is in one particular spot of the cut of meat, like right in the middle. And if it cools down, the juices then proliferate to the rest of the steak, so it's uniform. And that means there's more flavor. If you just cut right into a steak, all the juice just flips out like afterbirth when mom has a baby. There's been some wild comparisons today. Steaks going up like Trinity test, and if you cut into a steak without letting it rest, it's like afterbirth shooting out. Well, this may have been the most success I've had with charcoal. The most success. And so I was just stoked about it. Everybody loved it. Big success. And then we had, Pooh Bear said, I go, what type of cake? She goes, I want ice cream cake. And when I walked into Meijer to get the ice cream cake, I am walking towards that spot where they would keep in this freezer area of the bakery section. And there's a guy looking into the freezer at that cake. And there's one. And I'm like, holy shit, he's going to take the last one. And then he takes a step and a half to his right and starts looking at something else. So I wasn't like going, get out of the way. But as soon as he moved over, I go, thank God he didn't take it. I went in and grabbed that last cake. Holy shit. We are in business. Had to buy the numbers. You know, you got to put the 5 and the 7 on the cake and light it up. And then everybody now is in a spot at the house where I guess they think that Pooh Bear is old, which obviously she's not. She doesn't look like she's a day over 37. Come on now. And Jacqueline said, she goes, God, 57. You're getting close to 60. And I'm like, oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Pooh Bear goes, I don't care. It doesn't. Age doesn't matter to me. And I'm like, that's the attitude. And I guess when we start to get to this level of age, that it seems like she's like a lot older than me, but she's not a lot older than me. She's 3 years older than me. Okay. Like I'm 53 right now. She's what, 3.5 years, maybe less than that. And she goes, God damn. Jackie's like, you're so much older than Dad. And I'm like, it's the same as it's always been. What are you talking about? Come on now. Amanda writes, just counting towards death now. That's kind of out of left field. I didn't see that type of joke coming from you, frankly. Which, by the way, in my brain, I have come up with my talking sex with Jimmy and Amanda. We joked about this show, but this is the idea here, and this is totally serious. I'm not even kidding you, because Amanda's been like, I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast. I don't know why I started with that one voice. Well, that show, okay, you're right. You should be doing a podcast, but you shouldn't be doing it about what you're going to be doing it because no one gives a shit about that. The only thing they care about is the dynamic between you and Jimmy. Now, I joked about one podcast where you could actually test sex toys on yourself, but I don't want to do that. Obviously, we can't do that. I mean, that'd be horrible. Jesus Christ. Jimmy wanted to do a podcast about movie makeup and monsters. Amanda says here, before I give you this idea, I'm sad because the actress I wanted to do my intro declined my cameo. So, yeah, people do that all the time where you hire somebody and say, hey, will you cut it? Will you say this? Say you're listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast. Hello, I'm William Shatner. You're listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast. Something like that. You pay them. Wow. That's a bummer. You don't need to pay some actress to do it. I'll do it for free. Hang on, I gotta drink this coffee. The show with Jimmy and Amanda, I would be part of it. I'm actually on it with you two. But you are the stars. I'm merely the facilitator, keeping the conversation going. All right? So I'm like your internal clock, keeping the topics moving. So what we'll do is I will have a wheel here, like with the old school producer Joe wheel of stunts. All right? And there's each of the spots that the wheel can land on, you can change the topics. So talking sex with Jimmy and Amanda. And then you spin the wheel and whatever it lands on, that's what we're talking about for the show. And then that's it. That all the rest is the conversation that takes place about said topic. So let's say there's 10 spots on the wheel. You could have all sorts of different topics on there. Sex related. It has to be sex related. So tossing salad, or do you eat ass? Ass eating. Fellatio, blowjobs, whatever. Butt play, orgasms, squirting. We just have all these topics on there. And then, okay, let's say it lands on squirting. So then I would say, Amanda, so let's start it off with you. What do you know about this? How do you feel about it? Is this good or bad? Jimmy, how do you feel? So there we go. We then take that, and it's not going to be that long. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 15 minutes, who knows? Amanda says, because everyone I know is talking about sex podcast. No, I don't understand the sentence. Because everyone I know is talking about sex podcast. I don't know what you're saying. Can you put that in a different, rephrase that so I can follow what you're saying? So I think this talking sex with Jimmy and with Amanda and Jimmy would be a fun, digestible bit of content that 1,000,000% the people, first of all, you're starting with an audience on this show that would watch it. Doesn't have to be a huge endeavor like, I do a long podcast. You would not do a long podcast. And that's good, actually. So I think it would be great. Amanda says, so this is going to work? Wait a minute. Are you asking me a question? So you're not sold on this podcast. What are you? Let me bring you in here. Maybe I can ask you some questions directly as opposed to trying to communicate with you on the chat. I mean, it's difficult enough communicating with you like in real time, like when I'm talking to you on the phone. Reading your text is even worse. Hello? Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, so what are you, right away you're like, hey, I don't know. I don't think this is going to work.
No, I don't think this is going to work. And the reason I said I don't think this is going to work is because everybody I know is talking about sex podcasts. That was what that was. So it was sarcasm. I was like, yeah, this is totally going to work because everyone's talking about sex podcasts that I know of. No.
Look, the dynamic between you two dumbasses, first of all, with this audience is huge. It's not like I'm Joe Rogan, but at the same time, you would have an immediate built-in audience. So that is one giant step ahead of your idea of sitting on the couch and talking about whatever it is you wanted to talk about. No, I mean, you start with zero audience if you do it your way. You start with this audience if you do talking sex with Jimmy and Amanda. And don't forget, I'm with you. So I'm keeping the content moving. I'm keeping best practices in play so that you two don't get in the weeds. And all you got to do, you don't have to do anything other than just show up. And then we'll make it available. People will love it. It'll be so much fun. And then it isn't like a huge burden on your time. You don't have, because a lot of times people, when they do podcasts, they do like 2-3 episodes. They're really great out of the gate. And then they realize, holy shit, this is a lot of work.
So, okay, how about this? Jimmy and I do this under your umbrella of podcasts for like a couple episodes.
Yeah.
And then if it works, like we can branch it off on its own.
That's up to you. I mean, if you're happy, that's totally up to you. So,
well, I mean, so you know how they have like you have Smartless Media and iHeart now. So that's like the big company that has everybody. And then there's all these little podcasts underneath it. So like, you're just going to be branching out your brand.
Well, what I was thinking was I was actually thinking about compensating you. I was thinking about maybe we could put it on Patreon and just paying you two.
That's something I could entertain. Not that I want to get paid. Like I said, I just wanted to do podcasts for fun. But considering that would be less work for me, hell, I'll do it.
Yeah, see, that's the attitude. That's what I'm talking about. All you got to...
Okay, so we're just going to do this wheel of topics.
Right.
And then you throw the topic at me and Jimmy, and we start discussing those.
I am banking on the personality of Amanda and of Jimmy. That's all. That's the only thing I'm banking this on.
How old is Jimmy?
I think Jimmy's in his mid to probably about 56, 57.
Okay, so younger than my parents, but obviously older than me.
Yeah, what is that? I don't understand. How come that?
Well, no, because I'm trying to think. I'm like, do I want to have conversations about sex with somebody that's old enough to be my father?
Well, you have to look at this as you have to wall off your personal views and understand that the content is an entirely different animal. This is supposed to be this isn't supposed to make Jimmy stiff and you want to have sex with him. No,
I wasn't thinking that either.
This is supposed to be like just when you two are trying to be informational, it's going to be funny. Jimmy is ridiculous and borderline he's just so damn silly. And you, as much as I want to punch you in the face 99 times out of 100, I do think there's something marketable there.
Well, as you saw before, I totally give up trying to make you laugh anymore.
No, you're terrible. She's sending me, this is so funny. It's Stephen Colbert. No, it's not. Well, anyway, so that's my idea.
Okay.
That is what I'm thinking about. So I'm trying to refine it in my brain. And then I don't really have a timeline to start this or anything like that. I'm still kind of weighing it out. This is just what I was considering, and I obviously I had to get the approval of you. So Maureen writes, I think this will be very entertaining. I do too. The point is, can you and Jimmy keep butts in the seats? And I think you can.
Yes, I have a world of knowledge when it comes to sex stuff.
Well, that's there you go. That's part of it, you know. So
when anybody looks at me or thinks of me, they think of sex.
Well, this is so great. Maybe this will revitalize your sex toy trade. Weren't you selling sex toys?
I was, but I don't now because it's a really long story, but in the end, they just screwed everybody. So, and more ways than one. Maureen
suggests that we could do a mini version of it on the Ben and Eric show, kind of like a test. So let's say you and Jimmy and everybody else is enjoying the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. And then I go, all right, let's walk before we can run. See if you guys can do a few minutes. So then I'd spin the wheel and I'd go, all right, Jimmy and Amanda, the topic today is whatever.
Sure.
All right. Let me percolate on this a little more, and we will reconvene. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
There we are. That is Amanda. And my idea for talking sex with Amanda and Jimmy. Would it be Amanda and Jimmy or Jimmy and Amanda? Jimmy and Amanda kind of rolls off the tongue easier. All things to think about. This would be my first full-fledged show where I am not the focal point. Not that, I mean, I guess you could say that on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, we're equal focal points, but this would be more like, all right, Jimmy and Amanda, topic, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. And then I'm just kind of like keeping them moving and asking them questions about it. Ryan says it's important for Amanda to be first in billing position. That's important when you craft a show. Maureen says Jimmy and Amanda sounds better. Amanda says, I don't like Jimanda because it's like a couple. Yeah, you guys are not a couple. And I'll make sure to say that when I'm setting up your show for you. All right. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to get rich. I mean, if suddenly I get 8,000 people sign up on the Patreon, well, then, yeah, you'll make some money. But I plan on this being a Patreon show. If it were to take off, we could very easily just transfer it over to the free platform. There's a million directions we could take this. But I'm telling you, there's enough silliness here that I think we could get a pretty excellent audience enjoying talking sex with Amanda and Jimmy. Jimmy's doesn't even know about this. Yesterday was a disastrous day for your old pal EZ. And I had to make sure that what I'm about to tell you did not ruin the birthday party. It very well could have. But I've gotten better at taking news like this and not, letting it make me really an anxiety-filled piece of shit. Before I get to that, Chris writes a quote from Jimmy. I don't know anything about sex. I just know about Fender Stratocasters. That's perfect Jimmy speak, by the way. He would say Fender instead of Fender. Stratocaster instead of Stratocaster. I sat down with the tax hobbit yesterday. This is my day when I find out, all right, sink or swim, how we doing? And, things were going great. And then the document that indicated that I took a bunch of money out of my retirement to pay for Madison's college. So when I get these giant college bills, I'm like, God damn it. So what I do is I'll peel myself off a chunk of change and immediately give it to Hope College. Now, when you do that, you have to pay tax on it. I pay my tax on it in advance. It's a huge percentage. So let's say you pull $20,000 out of there. You have to pull more than $20,000 out of there just to pay the tax. So the government gets a chunk and the school gets a chunk. I get none. So this happens 2-3 times in a year. Well, the very last thing we did was I gave him that document and he goes, oh boy. I go, what do you mean, oh boy? He goes, you pulled a lot of money out of that. I go, yeah, I know. I had to pay these school bills. It's either that or don't go to school. Okay. And he kind of, his face turns gray. Chris writes, oh no. The dick cloud flew over the Zane household and dumped a cloud of shit. I can sense it. No, this is terrible. And I go, what does that mean? He goes, well, you pull income out like that, and that can raise what tax bracket you're in. If you're in this tax bracket and we're conducting business, but you suddenly on your own take a big pile of cash and dump it into your pile, the government sees that and the tax bracket goes up. I go, yeah. He goes, yeah. Time is winding down on our session. He's not yet done, and the next client. And this is yesterday. He worked, tax. This is the Gins, the tax hobbit. Next client is walking in, and he goes, "Well, I'm not done with this. I'll have to finish it up later." I go, "Well, I need to know how much I'm going to owe. What do you think?" He goes, "Well, I might be able to take this money that you paid yourself, and because it's for education expenses, I might be able to get this knocked down somewhat." Now, I don't want to hear somewhat. I want to hear 100%. And I go over to where he's seated, and I'm looking at his monitor. And basically, his monitor, it's gigantic, and it has all the numbers on the right side of the tax form. And all of mine are written in red. I'm like, oh, boy. Oh, boy. I go, well, point to the one that I'm going to owe the federal government. He points to the one, and it had 5 digits. Digit, digit, comma, digit, digit, digit. That's what I owe. Picture this. Digit, digit, comma, digit, digit, digit. Working left to right. No, wait a minute. Working right to left. This is like what they taught you in school. In the ones place was a 6. In the tens place was a 4. In the hundreds place was a 1. Then the comma. The thousandth place was a 0. And the 10,000th place was a 2. Fucking shit. too large. $20 plus. I go, are you serious? He goes, yeah. I don't know when you do these things. Not that it matters, but I mean, yeah, the amount of money you took out of that, it totally bumped up your tax bracket. And when you do that, you're fucked. So he goes, let me monkey with this. There might be something I can do. And I go, all right, do your thing. But I'm preparing myself to pay that. I've already wrapped my mind around it. Oh. So bad. So I'm like driving home, and I kind of like this because here we are, March 11th, and I have until April 15th to like process this. What am I going to do? There's always something to do in my world. There's always a way out. There's always a way out. Dan says, hope you enjoyed college, sweetie. Mom and dad are now broke. I hope you help us when we are old to take care of ourselves. I hope you're not like many other college grads and move back in with us after college also. No, I don't think so. Madison is pretty aggressive on being a big girl. Kenney writes, imagine this fall if Madison drops out of college and quits. LOL. That would be a story nobody would want to miss. Oh, you're not kidding. You are not kidding. But no, she's a tremendous student. Tremendous. And then she was, in fact, we sat down to eat those perfect steaks, and she goes, have I told you my plan, Dad? I go, no, Madison. What is it? I am going to grad school at this college, Eastern Michigan. For what I'm going into, this is a perfect school for graduation. And she's already got it figured out where if you get into the grad program, there's all sorts of ways you get your whole education paid for and some shit. And she's going to work while she's doing it. I go, are you doing the part? She goes, the part-time is a 3-year program and the full-time is a 2-year program. I go, what are you? She's got it all figured out. That's my point in this. Bob says, I remember the first time I got bumped into the next tax bracket, I owed just over $12,000. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. Maureen says, make her pay for her own masters. I don't have to make her. She actually has said, Dad, I got this. You're on the hook. Thank you for being on the hook for the undergrad. I got the grad school. So the way the faucet will be turned off in 1 year. I have to pay for 2 more semesters of college, and then that's it. I have then, I'm in the clear. Jacqueline, done. School and wedding. Those are 2 giant ones. School and wedding for Jacqueline. And then Madison's school. Now, all Madison has to do then is get married. And then, so that's a big one too. But when you have 4 things stacked against you like that. I remember when I was in my 20s, I remember saying, we have to pay for 2 weddings. You realize that. So let's kind of wrap our mind around that. And we've got 3 educations to pay for. Now, Jim said, fuck it. I'm not going to school. Kenney says, is she aware of the current situation with the tax hobbit right now? Great question. No. And she actually can't be made aware of that. Because she is extremely sensitive to, she like oftentimes gets anxiety and feels bad at, which I appreciate, the amount of money that we have to throw at her education. But I made it very clear to her. I go, look, man, I've prepared for this. This is what it's supposed to be. You know, I'm going to throw all this money and then for when we get old. But rather than me spending it, I'll let it work. But if I need it, I'm going to peel it off. Otherwise, I don't have the money. So that's how we're doing it. Doesn't matter. Almost done. And then Pooh Bear and EZ can just sit there and bank. I've got Okay, because the goal for EZ is I'm 53 right now. And I think right now you have to work till you're like 66 and a half or 67 is the full retirement age. That means you can, if you go the full way with the federal government, like retire at the oldest you can possibly be. When you do that, you can get full Social Security benefits and work and make as much money as you want. If you retire early, you can only, you can't work full time. Like you can earn some money, but if you earn a lot of money, you'll draw off your Social Security. So Social Security isn't really a ton of money, but I want it all. I think if by the time you retire at the oldest possible, I think you're sitting on just south of $40,000 a year the government gives you. So I would take that, and I want to keep working. So that's what I want to do. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because I want to go. So that means I'm 53. Right? That means I got 63, roughly 14 years left. Rich writes, so you're saying the tax hobbit did not save you the amount you were going for? I don't understand. Why are you... I don't know what you're talking about. I've said what I've said. So I'm saying the tax hobbit didn't save you the amount you were going for? No, I don't know what you're talking about. What I'm telling you is no. Well, I don't get it. Are you being sarcastic or trying to be silly or funny or something like that? Rephrase that in a way that's not retarded so I can understand what you're saying. Donut Dan says, EZ, the government does not give it to you. You paid into it and are taking it out. Of course. They used my money that I paid into it and made their own money. I know what you mean. You're right. The government loves people like this, people like me, who are going to work as far as we can. Kenney says people cannot work miracles when it comes to taxes. They're either done right according to your personal situation or they're not. Absolutely true. Yeah, don't blame the tax hobbit. What the fuck are you trying to do? Start a fight there, Rich? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Tax hobbit is my guy. I would never, ever sit there and bitch about, things tax-wise. Never, ever. Okay. Rich says, I must have missed something. Did you expect to pay out or get a refund? Oh, I was hoping on a refund. Or maybe $1,000 or $2,000. That's what I'm telling you. You did miss something. You missed the part when I said that I peeled off a bunch of cash on my retirement to pay for Madison's college, which increased my tax bracket, which meant I owe more tax. Quit asking questions and just listen. You'll enjoy the show better. Look, we need to set up a set of rules here on the show. If you get here late, you can't go and say to everybody, all right, fill me in on everything EZ talked about so I can know what's going on. No, you have to go back and listen to it. That's the new rule. No more saying, okay, everybody catch me up on all this shit. If you miss it, too goddamn bad. Go back and listen. Let's see. Nick says you should let me pay you cash for Patreon. Chris says I might have to call the tax hobbit. My computer took a crap. First of all, let me just say this. I'm not complaining. I'm just giving you the information as to what happened to me. I don't ever want anybody to think that I would complain about taxes. I love taxes. You know how much cool shit we have because of taxes? Think about it. the streets we walk on, the military we use to blow up countries, all of this cool shit we have is because of taxes. I always joyfully pay my taxes. When people say, oh, yeah, they take. Well, yeah, of course we fucking take. We want to live like this. Are you kidding me? No, I'm buying hand grenades. I'm paying for a tank of fuel to go blow up a bunch of fucking terrorists. Take my money. Take my money. My God. The usual suspects with comments like, yeah, like universal health care. Chris writes, and 34, I think that's trillion in debt. Corey writes, for how much they take, though, we should be getting more. I don't think so. I think we got just enough. You realize, have you ever really stopped to think about how lucky we are? Have you ever really done that? Even the person in this audience or this world who has the worst situation, okay? I'm talking within reason. Like, let's say you work 65 hours a week and you're barely staying above water. All right? You're check to check. You got to be careful with your money so that you can even eat food or pay for fuel or keep the heat on. Even that scenario for that person is a million times better than a large percentage of the rest of the world. There are people on the planet who would instantly trade, most of the planet would trade spots with you. Okay? It's so outrageous that the rest of the world doesn't even know how we live. They're like, what? Huh? That's a thing? You know? I mean, it's fucking great. I think the way we run this country, everybody is willing to take a shit on it. Okay? But not me, man. I count my blessings. I'm like, fuck, yeah, this place is great. Is it perfect? Well, of course it's not perfect. But Jesus Christ, this is absolutely a great place to live. Don't even get me started. Well, you already did. I am definitely started. Corey, from the talking out of his ass category, writes, the military spends $100 on a basic broom. That way they spend money is ridiculous. What? Who cares? Who gives a fuck how they spend their money? I don't give a shit how anybody spends their money. As long as when we need to go beat the fuck out of someone, they can do that. That's all I care about. Chris says, it is great, but it's unsustainable. Maybe, maybe not. None of us here, either me or you, knows what the fuck we're talking about. All we're doing is spewing words and trying to get a chuckle. None of us here has any idea. Corey's fucking flipping out. Just shut up. Okay? Just shut up. It's the military. You should care. The way the government spends money is everyone's business. Well, go run for office then, fucking Captain America. You fucking dummy. Who gives a shit? And what do you really care? You don't. You just sit there and fire shit off the same way I do. The only difference is 43 people are paying attention to me, and no one's paying attention to you. Joe Martinez is here. He writes, screw the government and screw the taxes. Have you lost your mind, Senor Martinez? We need the taxes. We can't just have you go and steal all the cash. Nick says we could all pay half if they wouldn't give it all away to lazy people and shithole countries. I don't know about that. Again, very easy to say. Corey says, I know Joe Martinez agrees with me when we say more money should be going to border control. That's ridiculous. All right. We got a lot of experts in the audience right now, myself included. But I did want to start the show by making you all feel better that as of right now, on March 11th, I am in for $20,000 plus. And I think that's another $1,200, $1,500 that goes to the state of Michigan. So, you know, if I can keep my head up, hold your head up, Argent, then you can. If I can do anything today, it's to make you feel better. All right. I do have other important things that I have to get to, but I mean, here we are an hour into the show. And I want to tell you that I talked on the Patreon about Tyler, not Tyler the joke man. Tyler A needs some advice. And I'm going to read that in just a moment. He actually wrote in an email. And it isn't like one of those fake Free Beer and Hot Wings show emails. I mean, that's the actual email right there. That he needs advice on. And he's here right now. I see him. Hey, Tyler, I didn't forget you. So what I'm going to do now is address some of my fantastic sponsors, like Joe Martinez, who keep the roof over my head, our heads. Thank you so much for now 5+ years for all of you of sponsoring this show. Let me start with this. The show originates in the Impact Power Sports studio. Thank you to Impact Power Sports. More from them in a bit. If you are watching on Facebook, X, or YouTube, I'm going to kick you out and remind you that you can get the rest of the show by heading to Twitch. Either download the Twitch app on your mobile device and search Eric Zane Live, or go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live on your desktop. You can send me an email like Tyler did on the Shoreliners Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com, if you ever want to chat. Sometimes I hear from people and they're like, oh, man, hey, sorry I'm bugging you so much. You're not. I love corresponding with audience members. Even when Amanda sends me stupid shit that's not funny that she thinks is funny. Ashley is here. She says she owes $12, and I don't even have any kids or a house. You owe $12? That's not bad. Somehow I think it's more than 12. If you had kids in a house, it wouldn't be $12,000. It'd be a lot less. If you had kids in a house, it wouldn't be more. All right. And, of course, the Patreon. On today's Patreon, wait until you hear the gaffe that Madonna did. Madonna's on tour right now. And her tour actually is getting a lot of positive reviews, which I was surprised by because I thought she was losing her mind in all these stupid TikTok videos she's been doing from her bedroom. And so wait until you hear the awkward, embarrassing, cringeworthy gaffe that Madonna did right from the stage. She addressed an audience member who she thought was not having a good time. and spoke directly to the audience member. And then it got ugly, and now she's just getting killed over it. I will talk about that on the Patreon. Also on the Patreon, I'm going to talk about the New Jersey high school basketball game that I promised to talk about on Friday's Patreon. And then I sold it really hard. And then what did I do? I forgot to fucking talk about it. The rich white kids from Manasquan were taking on the poor black kids from Camden in the high school basketball playoffs. Manasquan scores a bucket late. They win. No, they don't. The refs changed their mind. This is ugly. I could not believe this. And now the rich white kids, they're trying to steal the win or take the win back through like money and judges. This is a ridiculous story. I don't even know. It's gotten out of hand, actually. That will be on today's Patreon. Sign up at patreon.com/Eric Zane for 7 days to check out these stories. patreon.com/Eric Zane. 7 days free. All right. So for the folks on Facebook, X, and YouTube, thank you. Have a great day. Facebook and Twitch brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. X brought to you by Blue Frost IT. The open and live stream of this show is brought to you by A&E Heating and Cooling. Schedule your AC tune-up now. 616-516-8579. That's 616-516-8579. You must get your AC tuned up before you fire it up. Okay? So get on the schedule now. Don't wait until it's too warm, because at that point, you've probably turned the thing on, and that's a risk. Right there, just turning it on is risky if you have not yet had it looked at. Now, if it doesn't blow up on you, which it probably won't, but then it's just going to be working kind of like a little bit too hard and slowly but surely zapping the long-term life of your AC at a quicker pace. You want air flowing freely through that unit so that it doesn't have to work as hard to cool your home. 616-516-8579. That will also help the energy cost, because you won't be using as much energy, you know? All right. We talked a lot about the Gins, a tax hobbit, absolute saint. Thank you, Troy, so much. You might be like, oh, yeah, no, blame him. He's the one who got you. No. No, I got myself. And there was in the tax scenario that I'm in. Hey, he had nothing to do with it. But anyway, do call upon him to do your taxes. I was talking with Mike Ball with his company, MB Distributing, and how much of a savior the Gins has been to him doing his business taxes. He can do your personal return for you, no problem. He wants you to reach out to him to schedule. You have until April 15th to get this done, so do it. Reach out at 616-301-9516. 616-301-9516. Excuse me. I keep hearing noises in the other part of the house. I sure hope the NFK hasn't fallen down in the shower or something. If you're thinking about a mortgage anywhere in the, by the way, tag accounting anywhere in the U.S. If you live in fucking Kansas, you can upload all your documents via his online portal. You don't have to be in front of him to do your taxes. I choose to. You don't have to do that. So this is good for tag accounting from anywhere in the U.S. TagCPA.net, 616-301-9516. He's also the accountant for the world-famous Free Beer and Hot Wings morning show. Uh-huh. You're damn right. I'm always trying to get info out of him. Hey, man, give me some info because I don't talk about my clients. What are you talking about? Don't do that shit to me, EZ. I'm like, come on. Show me their info. He's like, fuck you. All right, hang on here. I keep hearing something. I want to make sure that everything is okay in this house. I'll be right back. He's fine. He's just clanking around in there. You know how it is. All right, where was I? Thank you to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, 231-332-6505. When you're ready to get into a mortgage, reach out to Mario. From anywhere in the U.S., mention me, please. Mario will roll out the red carpet for you, whether it's your first mortgage or you've done this many times in the past. It's time to start thinking about one. That's right. Those interest rates are done rising. They're coming down as we speak. 231-332-6505. Call Mario from anywhere in the U.S. And get going on your mortgage. All right? Whether it's your first mortgage or one you've done this many times in the past. But special attention to those first mortgage people, that you've got a lot of questions. There are no bad questions. Reach out today. Grand Rapids Gold have 4 games remaining. We had a packed house on Saturday. I've never seen a crowd that big for a either drive or gold basketball game. This is my 10th year doing basketball for the Grand Rapids Gold. And that was magnificent. It was a Space Jam night. We had Toon Squad jerseys for the team. I guess that's all you got to do. And a Buckets bobblehead. And they just came out in droves. Go see the Grand Rapids Gold. GrandRapidsGold.com for tickets. Thursdays and Fridays, $2 beers, $2 dogs with your Grand Rapids Gold. My pal Rick from TC Paintball is inviting you to reach out to him or go see him. Schedule your paintball event at TC Paintball. Rick, man of little faith, who, if you remember, I spoke with him not that long ago about my radio show, and he actually said, I don't think you can do it. And I'm like, wait, what? He says, yeah, I don't think you can do a radio show and a podcast. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay, wet blanket. All right, I get it. Glass half empty type of guy. Then he sends me, he is known for when he sends me like his, because I bill him for the advertising. He sends me the money. And he always writes a label that's some type of insult. And then it was something like, I think I took a picture of it. It actually annoyed me. I was like, what the fuck, man? I thought I took a picture of it. No, I didn't. It said something like, plans on working full-time job, podcast be damned. I'm like, well, okay, for starters, it's not a full-time job. And I mean, I love the support. Thanks. My God. Like, are you kidding me? If anybody can do this, I can. I was made to do this. Jesus. Anyway, despite that annoyance from that fuck, he's a great guy. TCPaintballGR.com. April 28th, Sunday, April 28th, is Paintball War number 24. The April Aggression. Very excited about that. I don't think Rick is here right now, so he's not hearing these insults. Chris writes, how's that axe throwing coming along? Yeah, talk about not being able to do something. You buy the axes, you buy the targets. And it even went like this for me. Like 2.5 years ago, I was calling on a local business called Wood Splitters, where all they do is axe throwing. I was trying to get them to market on the show. And I found out, hang on, I got to sneeze. I found out that Rick, he says, oh, by the way, I bought axes. I'm going to do axe throwing. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'll stop calling on that business. Nope. The fuck, man? No problem. All right. So there's that. Thank you, Rick, though, despite being a pain in my asshole. Maybe it's like reverse psychology. He's doing that to keep my head in the game so that I won't quit. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to play paintball with me, it's Sunday, April 28th. It'll be me, the Hondurans, the Mexicans, a few white guys, and Rick at TC Paintball. This is Tyler's email. He needs advice. Tyler writes, backstory. Now, I've shared this with some of you on Patreon, but I'm going to read it all from the beginning. You can throw out your opinions and thoughts whenever you want. If you leave a comment in the chat, I'll try to get to it. But try not to get in an involved conversation with each other, because you might miss something on what I'm reading. So for now, just kind of hang tight maybe. Tyler writes, feel free to talk about this on the show if you think it would be interesting, or else not. You're the expert. Backstory. I've been divorced for about 5 years. I have a 6-year-old. It's a little girl, by the way, who I get 6 nights a month. So whatever the agreement is of however many days in a month, 30, 31, 28, 29, he gets 6. Since her mother and I had been getting along, I've even been getting to see her an extra night here and there. I always knew this was only allowed because my ex-wife has been getting her way. And I've been allowing it to keep the peace. Smart. That is a smart thing right there. Also, she has a husband who has been in the picture for the time that we have not been together. That would be 5 years. Dude has been part of his daughter's life. I'm assuming everybody gets along, and stepdad treats daughter well. All good. The situation. Last year, I took my daughter to the daddy-daughter dance at her school. Her mother had mentioned at the time wanting to alternate years of taking her between myself and stepdad. I never officially agreed, but at the time simply said whatever she wants to do, as in leaving it up to my daughter to decide. Fast forward to this past weekend when I had her, my daughter and I were looking at pictures from the dance last year, and my daughter asked if I could take her again. So that would be like back-to-back years. Uh-oh. I told her, basically, that if she wanted me to take her, that was okay, as long as it was her decision. So you say I told her basically. Did you tell her? Or, why do you have to say basically? So you told her, right? I'm assuming. She seemed conflicted, but I had a good feeling her preferences was that I go with her. Now, in my mind, I'm going to stop right there. you knowing what you know, you probably were like, okay, the second my daughter brings that up, that's going to go over like a lead balloon. Because you know your ex-wife. After some back and forth with myself, I decided to, and Tyler wrote the word confront. I decided to confront her mom about this via text. All right. I don't know why you use the word confront. Maybe float the idea to mom. And then you did it via text. Never good. Yeah, you're giving yourself a not so fertile environment here to make this happen. If you know your wife so well, you gotta all these little things, using the word confront, doing it via text. It's just a lot can go wrong. If you know that this is going to be a sensitive thing, okay, you might want to, do this in a different method, maybe like face to face. Say, hey, so here's the scenario. What do you think? I don't know, just me. Now, people who are divorced, they a lot of times there's a lot of bad, angry feelings. So that might not be possible. I don't know. I've never been divorced. I don't know what it's like. I don't know the environment that you're in right now. But anyway, Tyler writes, I sent a text stating that I was going to take her. This is where I think you're making the most of your mistakes. You can't do it via text, and you can't state that you're going to take her if mom is under the impression that you're alternating years. Now, whether you agreed to it or not doesn't matter. She's under the impression that you did agree to it. So you can't just go in guns a-blazing stating you're taking her. Okay? He writes, it is also my legal time with her legally. So legally, I am allowed to be the one to take her. Okay? Right. So, I mean, I know from your standpoint, I get it. I do get it. But I think that you have to understand that if you are going to go the route that you are going, confront, do it via text, stating that you're taking her, this is going to erupt. You have done nothing on your own to try to finesse this. And I'm guessing when it comes to divorce and shit like this, there is some finesse involved. Now, in my opinion, if you don't figure out a more constructive way and creative way of getting this done, you run the risk of yet another reference to Oppenheimer of Trinity test. You run the risk of shit getting off the rails. So you got to kind of think big picture here. And you set me up by saying we had been getting long. I was getting extra days. Everything's happy. Everything's hunky-dory. It could get dicey. By the way, why does she hate you so much? I'm curious. What did you do? What in the world did you... No, don't... You know what? Don't answer that. This is a can of worms that we don't want to get into. Because I want to focus on this. So don't answer any of what I just said. After he sent the text, he writes, yeah, I didn't hear back from her for 2 days. Then I ran into her at parent-teacher conferences. My ex walked up and declared that stepdad was taking her, and that was it. She stated that this was what my daughter wanted. Now, he writes, myself and my significant other, who was also present, stated that this was not happening and that we could discuss this later, not in a school. Okay, that's a good thing to say. Hey, let's talk about it later. I'll talk to you tomorrow or whatever. But, you started it off so bullish that out of the gate, she's defensive. So you're kind of fucked in that regard. Now it's going to be a fight. And you have to understand, the kid's 5, 6 years old. The kid might want you one day, and because she's a kid, she might look at pictures of her with the other guy the next day, and And I know it sounds awful, but she might want the other guy too. I mean, it is. I know you're her dad, but she's also 5 or 6, so you got to give her the benefit of being of mind changing. You know how kids are. You know, all a stepdad has to do, I'm assuming he treats her well, is look hurt, and she's going to feel bad and want to go with him. That's what kids do. Anyway, X says, no, that's not happening. Fuck you. I said we'll discuss it later on, not in school, if she was not okay with it. My ex began making a scene, still at the school, saying things like, I can't believe they are doing this, and stormed off, slamming the door on the way out. Oh, boy, she's pissed. She had also accused me of pressuring my daughter by cornering her about the dance, when all I ever said was if she wanted to go with her stepdad, that was okay. All right. My only concern was that it was my daughter's decision. Yeah, I get it. I understand. I just don't know how you can assume that your daughter is going to make a reasonable decision. Kids don't have that ability to reason like adults. It's usually steeped in emotion. So frankly, if it were me, I would have never gone down the road of letting my daughter decide. I would let my daughter decide if she was an adult. I wouldn't put that on my child to make that type of... Kids at 5 and 6 should not be making decisions like that. They should be making, kid decisions. That's an adult decision. It's a lot. I think you're putting a lot on the child, a lot of pressure on that kid. And just my 2 cents. I think you're not doing the kid any favors by making a kid have to make that type of decision. Aftermath. Now that mom is no longer getting her way, she has ceased allowing me to see her the extra days that I told you she gave me about. Now, this is how this goes. And this is 100% all your fault. This is some of the worst negotiating I have ever seen. You kicked in the door while your ex-wife was minding her own business, and you told her what's up, and you based it on, the 5-year-old's going to decide, or the 6-year-old's going to decide. That is not going to work. This is textbook 100% your fault. You did all of this. You could have gotten this accomplished if you handled it like a normal person. Yeah, I told her what's up. You can't do that. That never works. And now you're going to pay the price. I was originally going to pick up my daughter from school the following day, but mom kept her home from school, seemingly to prevent it. Well, maybe, maybe not. We don't know. My question is, do you think it was a good call of me to rock the boat, so to speak? No. About a 2-hour daddy-daughter dance? No, it was not a good idea. It is important to me, but I can't help but feel as though I made a mistake by not just keeping the peace and allowing her to have her way about this. You are correct. By the way, I've been to all those daddy-daughter dances, and my kids now are old, and they don't give a fuck. Okay? It doesn't matter. This is all stupid. It'll matter then, but then they're going to forget about it and not give a shit. So knock it off. He writes, there is a lot more details surrounding this situation that I will spare you on, but I am now faced with the hard choice of speaking with a lawyer. What? You're going to go to a lawyer over this? I am going to try for more custody of my daughter. I believe I could have a case for reasons I will not get into at this time. We shall see. So wait a minute. I take it back. I'm assuming you're going to a lawyer for like what you said, for something entirely different. I mean, I don't know the rest of this scenario, so I won't speak to that. I'm assuming you're not going to go to a lawyer because of the debt. I'm assuming it's like, oh, that's right. I'm going to that goddamn daddy-daughter dance. I'm going to a lawyer. So I don't know anything about that. Sorry if I rambled too much. No, you did well. I'm trying to tell a painfully boring story like hot wings. Oh, I was trying to not tell. You didn't tell a painfully boring. That was a great topic. You did a good job explaining yourself. It was a well-written email. If you have any questions about this situation that would help you understand it better, feel free to ask. Thanks for any advice. P.S. I love the show. I listen every morning live while I'm at work. Have a great day and weekend. Easy. No. And you did not handle any of that right. You could have maybe even have gotten the kid to go to the daddy-daughter dance with you if you just finesse this a little more. I mean, I don't know. Maybe mom was very headstrong about her most recent significant other. But I think you hurt yourself. I really do. I think that now she's pissed off. Going forward, I think maybe it's the old wind flies with, what is it? You get more flies with sugar than vinegar. Big picture. You want more time with your daughter. And you just learned a very valuable lesson. If you go in guns a-blazing, you are now, in fact, going to get less time with your daughter. It's very simple. I suggest you get a little bit more tact for this thing right here. I think you should approach her. I'm going on all the information you gave me. I don't know. She might be fucking a drug addict. I have no idea. But if all of this is what it is, say, I'm looking back on how I handled this, and I think I came in a little too strong. My apologies for that. I've liked our relationship and our co-parenting situation, and I think we've done a good job, but I think I could have handled this a little differently. So my bad. Forget about all of this. Forget I even said anything. Those two, hope they have a great time at the dance. And then, because you're looking big picture, okay? You want those extra days. All right? If you've got 6 nights a month, maybe 7 or 8, all right? That's only 7 away from half a month, from getting 50%. Maybe if you hadn't done this, you'd still have the 7, 8 a month. And then you're so sweet that you've got 9, 10, 11 a month. You're damn near 50% there. But no, you had to go in and kick in the door and rub her nose and shit. And you know how sensitive she is. You know her more than the guy she's dating right now. So you knew exactly what you were getting into. This is a colossal fuck up on your part. All right. Let's go over some of the comments. Tyler, the joke man, writes, Tyler kicks in the door and says, listen here, bitch. She's going to decide who takes her to the dance, and that's going to be me. And I'll take more nights while we're at it. Kenney suggests, yeah, hey, mate, a good lawyer in today's world will help you get 50-50. Lawyer up. Yeah, lawyers are expensive. I vote no dollars and get 50% because you're so sweet. Don't listen to Kenney. Kenney is the worst at this. Okay? Every time Kenney turns around, he's losing shit to the exes. So, I mean, as much as we want Kenney to get all that he wants, we all know he's crazy and a hothead psycho. So do not ever take any type of advice about this topic from Kenney. All right? Kenney's face is inside of every law firm that handles these cases. It says, do not take a call from this guy. He's the absolute worst client in the history of these types of matters. He's terrible. Bob says, just rock, paper, scissors for it. Nick says, best solution is to show up drunk to the dance, ready to fight stepdad. Rich says, it's not a stepdaddy-daughter dance, it's a daddy-daughter dance. If her dad is fully in her life, he shouldn't be asked to share those dances. Correct. However, I would argue that there is no playbook for divorce. If you two dipshits weren't able to stay married and be good to each other, this is what you get. These go like that. That's why they call it divorce. Okay? It's hard. Megan says the same thing I said because she's awesome. It is not fair to ask the daughter to make the decision. I would have a talk with stepdad and see what the two of you can come up with without the ex's input. Ugh, no way. Okay, you were okay on the front half of that, but not on the back. Look, as much as you'd like to think that you're in charge, you're not. Okay? You're not. She has the a way to make your life miserable. It is not fair. It never has been. The guy always gets fucked, but that's just the way it is. I don't know what to tell you. Kenney is very active on this conversation, but as we all know, Kenney is the worst. He's so dumb when it comes to these because he's all bound up in emotion. Corey says, say goodbye to those extra nights. Kenny says, hey, this is not the place for a stepdad. Yeah, we know. We know that. Okay? But that's just the way it is. You can say that, but that's not true at all. It happens all the time. There's no set rule on daddy-daughter dance. Okay? The mother is wrong for trying to push that on him and their daughter. Now, Kenney speaks from a very jaded point of view. All right? Because he's been like on this side of that. But don't forget, Tyler came in guns a-blazing. How do you expect her to react? Tyler, the joke man, says, as a fellow Tyler, I can safely say he did nothing wrong and that it's all the ex's fault. No, not at all. Tyler even agrees with me. Tyler, who sent the letter, you're right. Too bullish. Rebecca says, I think those daddy-daughter dances are gross. You don't see mommy-son dances. Yeah, you're right. That is kind of weird now that you think about it. Megan says, actually, yeah, now there actually are mother-son dances because, quote, it isn't fair, and the moms are sad. Oh, God, give me a break. Packer for Fun says, go together with the stepdad. Tyler says, as far as I know, stepdad is fine, but the ex calls the shots. Aram says, even if she hates him, the stepdad should be an adult here. Maureen says, some adults don't have... Maybe she's still pissed. Maybe she's still pissed about you. Maybe she still loves you. I don't know. Fucking A. Rich says, stand up for your rights, Tyler. Look, I've not been divorced, but I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of people who are. How often does that work? And is it worth it over a goddamn daddy-daughter dance, you assholes? Chris says, as a child of divorce, bad hill to die on. Yeah, imagine all that pissed off shit. I mean, if a mommy and a daddy cannot get along, all right, the least you could do is be normal and like agreeable with each other. Otherwise, you run the risk of causing a great deal of anxiety with your children. Chris knows what I know. I watched that from age, I don't know, as far as I can remember. I remember my mom and dad fighting. It was awful. And then, you know what I was when I was growing up after my dad left? I was a pawn. I was used to make my dad angry by my mother in particular. My dad was less aggressive about it. He would ply me with things that would make me happy, like toys and games. And I would bring them home from when I would visit my father. And I'd walk in the door with a new set of Micronauts or a new Atari game, and my mother would get so goddamn pissed off she'd take it away because she was so fucking jealous. And then the cycle would start when he would show up to pick me up. And I've talked about this before. He's pulling in the driveway. We're getting ready to go to Showcase Cinemas to go see fucking Close Encounters or Jaws or whatever the fuck. And she then makes me do chores to delay. He'd sit out in the car for hours while I'm fucking putting a new roof on the goddamn house. That's how it went with us. So we were used as pawns, and it sucked. It was horrible. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe they'll get back together. Like for years, I was contemplating. I remember actually saying prayers at night when I'd go to bed. And I remember in the actual prayer, I'd be, please, Jesus, bring mommy and daddy back together again. It was horrible. And then one day, I remember when I actually stopped praying. I was like, all right, this is not working out. I am no longer praying for this. This is horrible. I lucked out, though, because I had Joanne. Oh, my God, Joanne. What a saint. She was so good. She's been so good to me, so sweet to me. I've loved her so much. My dad was always pretty cool. He tried his best. I think when I look back on my mom and dad, my mom worked very hard to provide for us. She sacrificed a lot. She was a housewife. She didn't have a job, and she had to do that. She had to get a job and enter the workforce, and she did a lot, and she was very, very tired. But to me, she was so aggressive when it came to my dad that it affected me. It really, I was like, why are you so angry? I mean, I guess I understand in hindsight why she was so angry, but she was fucking pissed. Rich says, so what EZ is saying is let your ex-wife keep using extra days with your child as a way to control every situation. No, not that at all. I'm just saying you were doing great and getting more days by actually working with her. What was wrong with that approach? Now, I guess you have to look at what do you have. Before you fired off the, hey, she's going with me, you were getting what you want. Now you're not. So if you want to keep doing it the rich way, okay. Not only do you have less days, but you're fighting and you run the risk of affecting the child. I think you got to look at the child here. You see what happens with you guys who have been jilted in the past? You're forgetting the children. You're worried about you and how you feel. And, I got to get my rights, and I got to fight, and I got to win, and I got to be the victor in this. But at the end of the day, are you doing that for your kids or for you? You see, if your daughter was able to see you X amount of days when you were getting along with the ex-wife, wasn't that nice? Your daughter sure liked it. That's the absolute best environment that she's going to get for now in a ever-changing situation. Changed because you changed it. You made it more difficult for your daughter. She sees you less now. She's put into a bad spot because you've said you decide. Come on now. I think it's time that you start to lead this by behaving like less aggressively. That's my advice to you. Kenny's stupid. He writes, don't take Eric seriously right now, for real. No, I would say that I've been very serious. I've spoken about this from a perspective that is logical, one that Kenney cannot relate to because he's not been on the receiving end of a divorce. His parents are still together. I know everything about this. I know this from the perspective that is most important, not from the fighting party's perspective. So Kenney may think that he's like an expert because every woman, because he's had horrible relationships, but you're taking it from a standpoint of, yeah, you got to get yours. You got to look out for you. No. You got to look out for your daughter. Ding dong. Kenny's telling me to fuck off right now. What is wrong with him? What did I do? I don't know why he's telling me to fuck off. My God. I thought I was doing well. Why is he telling me to fuck off? I didn't think I did anything. I thought I've been completely fair. Why did I get a fuck off? Aram says I should call him. That's weird.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. You just want to exaggerate and talk shit about me, and I'm honestly trying to help the guy. So.
Wait, I think I'm missing a key point here. I was talking about the kid, right?
Well, yeah. Then you read some of my comments, and you used the opportunity to just talk shit about me and exaggerate all this nonsense.
I honestly don't remember. Tell me exactly what I said.
Dude, I don't want to. You know what you did.
No, I don't. I've been talking about a lot of things. Can you? I mean, I half the time when I'm talking on this shit, it does fly in my own one ear and out the other. What? I thought I was fair. For once, I'm actually not trying to piss you off. So explain.
Well, that's great. You just exaggerated all this nonsense and talk shit about me, man.
I know. Okay, tell me what, because I honestly don't remember.
I'm trying not to remember because that's not my focus. My focus right now is that this guy needs to take what you're saying with a grain of salt because yes, your parents are divorced and you know that.
Well, wait a minute. Let's do one thing at a time. So we've got two things here. We'll worry about him and his situation in a second. But I still want to get to the first part of this, and I don't know what I was saying other than I said I didn't agree with you. I mean, I went that far. I know I said that.
Yeah, that's my point is I'm not trying to remember what you said either because it was all bullshit. So trying to get laughs.
So I didn't really say anything then. Because I don't.
You said a bunch of bullshit about me that's not true, and fuck that. That's not the important part of this guy's situation is.
Okay, we'll get to that. I've got plenty of time. Can anybody in the chat tell me what I said that was problematic? And
Lord.
Then I'm trying to address it. I mean, if I did, for once, I was trying to actually have a normal conversation about this and not weave you into it. I mean, I disagreed with you, but I don't think I said you're a dumb fuck who. Other than
that's pretty much what you said, and then you pulled shit out your ass that's not true about me, and whatever. I let it just roll off my back now. It's fine. And that's why do you want to focus on that? That's not the point.
I'll get to it. Amanda says you called out Kenney for his failed love life and called him being whiny. I get why he's not happy.
But I don't even care, dude. That's fine. Look, I don't care about talk shit about me all you want.
Okay.
That's not the point. I want this guy to actually get some good advice.
So you want him to put his foot down?
It's not necessarily him needing to put his foot down. You could call it that, I suppose, but he needs to stand up for what his daughter told him that she did want.
So put it on the daughter. Let her decide.
It's not 100% her decision. No, that's why he needs to, step in and speak up, because his point matters as well.
So that's where
daughter dance.
Right. I understand.
Daughter dance.
I get that, but if it's me, he asked my opinion. So my opinion is I would never ever. I wouldn't even weave the kid into it at any one point. I think that was a mistake to say, because kids they can't make those concrete decisions like that. So I would have never have done that. That's his first mistake.
Well, it seems to me like the mother, as he's clearly indicated in the chat this morning, has used her against him numerous times.
Yes,
so it's not that he is using her; it's the mother.
Well, that's a lot to assume. I don't know. I can only go by what he gave me. What his
that's what he said in the chat just a few minutes ago.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, I think that when it comes to focusing on the most important thing, everybody can agree that the most important thing is the kid.
Yes.
So the kid's going to be upset with this somehow if the kid is involved, and now the dad is also upset, and the dad is now losing out on important things because of all this. I think all of that, to me it seems like a scenario like this is a fluid moving scenario that you have to handle as it changes, and in this case it's changed because of his approach. I think this all could have been handled. He could have gotten it all if he wouldn't have been so belligerent in his initial approach. Remember, he said, I told her what's up. If he had handled this sweetly, he probably could have gotten everything.
Well, let's go back to legally. His point right now is that it falls on a day that legally he's supposed to have his time with the daughter. Correct?
I know that. Yes, you're right.
So there is that, but also take into consideration the fact that he's only been getting those extra days because she's been happy,
right?
And he's been going along with what she wanted. She should not have that power to be able to say, "Well, I'm not happy with what you're doing right now,
right.
So you don't get those." No, he needs to have that determined by a court where he does get 50-50 with his child. That needs to be his goal right now.
Yeah, there might be a reason for that. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't have all the information. But all I can go by is what he wrote. And he described it as, hey, it's looking up. Things are looking up between us. All this is coming on, and I'm getting this, I'm getting that, until I opened my mouth.
Yeah, it shouldn't hinge on whether or not the ex is happy or not with him.
It shouldn't, but you know as well as I do, these situations are never ever fair. I mean, you can if you ever want to see a guy who's gotten a raw deal, look at a guy who's been in a divorce. That's as old as time, and that's not going to change. It's always been that way. But he can say, and I understand the it's fair, it's what's right, it's what's wrong. He was on his way to getting what he wanted with no anxiety and no cost too. That gets expensive to have to pay a lawyer. You know that. And he was learning that, hey, it's working out for me. And now it's fucking not.
It doesn't need to be up to her and whether or not she's happy. It needs to be like, it actually is changing. Like courts in the past couple of decades, fathers are getting way more time with their children and they're winning way more custody battles.
Yep. I know it.
So
But
it needs to be in court. It needs to be on paper. It needs to be documented. He needs to have equal time with his child, and it doesn't need to be all in the ex's hands. It just really doesn't.
So what we're saying here, Tyler, who's listening, remember, Kenney doesn't know what the hell that he's talking about. And
here we go.
You were well on your way to getting everything you wanted, but you fucked the whole thing up because you went in like Kenney and ruined it. Nice job.
No. Come on, man.
No, I'm telling you. That's what I believe.
Well, I believe you're wrong.
All right. Okay. Have a good one.
You too.
See ya. Fucking dummy. What's all that crybaby shit? I didn't do shit to him. Shut up. I mean, wouldn't it have been easier? Wouldn't it have been easier on the child and you if you just behaved like a big boy? Tyler A. Tyler says that Kenney is accurate, that she uses my daughter against me. I know. That's what they do. I've seen this. God, it's politics. There is a way to do it. And it's the second you lose your shit, you're not going to get what you want. Kenny's such a dickhead. Yeah, go get a lawyer. Go spend a ton of money. Yeah, easy to say. That's fuck that. Lawyers, to me, all they do, the second you hire one, the amount of grief that you're going to cause for yourself, all the work lost, all the awkwardness, all the terrible things that are going to happen to the child, you know? Ryan writes, it's an interesting scenario, and I never like when adults, no particular party, have to put the kid in the middle. The kid is innocent and can't really make adult decisions. All that said, it's my opinion that mom is dumb for trying to force stepdad into the daddy-daughter dance. When the dad, I can't agree with that. I cannot agree with that because I don't know what's going on. We don't know why she's in the position she's in right now. We don't know anything. All we know is that she's got a new dude. Everybody's attacking her and throwing her under the bus. Maybe Tyler's a fucking idiot. I don't know. We don't know anything. All that said, it's my opinion that mom is dumb for trying to force stepdad into the daddy-daughter dance when the dad is still active and involved. Worst case scenario, they both take the kid. Well, let's see. And then Ryan also writes, the politics of it is simple. Both take the damn kid and be kind while around the kid. It is an alternative. I mean, you're not going to get, everybody's not going to get what they want. But if you guys are going to fight over it and get the kid in the middle, I think that ultimately the kid loses. The kid always loses. So I want you you three jackass. Well, four. You got Tyler and significant other, and then you got ex-wife and significant other. You guys got to get your shit together to what's best for the kid. And don't listen to Kenney and his dumb fuck. You go in and tell that bitch what's up and fucking you go get a lawyer. Kenney's an idiot. Okay? He's an absolute dumbass. All right. That's what he's pissed off about. He's pissed off because I'm calling him an idiot and a dumbass. And he is. He is. Because if you go the route that he said, yeah, you just got to go sewer. Just go sewer. That would not work in my book. You start off simple. You get what you can get, all right? And then you work your way into her good graces over time. If you treat her fairly at the start of this, you're slowly going to get what you want. You have to look at this from a pragmatic approach. Just going and paying a lawyer as much money as you have and you're broke over shit like this is stupid. Kenney goes, see, here we go. Yeah, I know. I am going because it's dumb. It's terrible advice you're giving. You do that, and look what you have. It's been a bad scenario for you from the start. Even if she did cheat on you, you're still fucking this up with all this lawyer bullshit. Tophus, who's brilliant, he writes, yeah, screw women for standing up for themselves. And then he says there's no point in talking facts to some people. Yeah, that's Kenney. Kenney doesn't understand how this works. Tyler says, I'm not disagreeing with you, Eric. You see, at the end of the day, Tyler does have some common sense. He writes, I'm not disagreeing with you, Eric. You've made valid points. This is what you do. First of all, step one, never listen to Kenney. Second of all, step two, don't do this anymore. Be a good soldier going forward. And I'd like you to tell her. I'd like you to start by having a great day today by approaching her and say, you know what? Even just write it out. You know what? I think I've handled this all wrong. I've been missing the point. The point is that we all get along. And I think that the way I approached this whole thing was not appropriate in any way, shape, or form. And I'm gonna turn that around. Can we please get a redo? Can I get a mulligan on all of this? Because I think that little Mary or Debbie or whatever the fuck her name is, she loses out when we're all not getting along. So forget that I said this. Have a good time. Maybe we can approach a different method for next year's daddy-daughter dance. Whatever. Just relax. And then don't do it again. Because you only get one childhood. Okay? One childhood. Let her live it. You got a handful of years of this childhood, and why spend it all in a goddamn courtroom? How's that going to help? Now, no matter how many times I say all this stuff that makes sense, again, this comes from a perspective of a kid. Because imagine me, because I was your daughter's age, having to live what she's going through right now. It sucks. Kenney has not. All he's done is rant and rave like goddamn Godzilla going through Tokyo and be stupid. Now, typically when I beat up Kenney, it's, just mercilessly beating the shit out of him over something that he said or done here. I'm legitimately saying here that he has no knowledge of any of this. He can't speak from a place of experience. He can only speak from your perspective of an adult. He has no idea what he's talking about from a kid's perspective. Okay? So whenever you see him saying anything about this topic, he knows absolutely nothing. So when he's telling you to go take it to court and fight, that is the worst advice you can possibly get. Tophus says, shelf your ego for the kid. Tyler says, I've got a lot to think about. Chris says, Kenney, you're only hearing the side you want to hear. Yes. Kenny's so he gets wound up in this stuff emotionally. We all know this. We've seen him blow his stack a million times over something that he thinks he knows what the hell is up. He just has no clue. Tophus says, you go dragging your ex into court and play tug of war with your kid. She's going to end up despising you and wanting nothing to do with you. Yeah, and that's not even taken into account. If you drag her into court, okay, then don't forget all that time that the little girl has with mom. She's going to do what my mom did and try to make you look bad. Wouldn't it be nice? Can you imagine if you lived in a world where you're being sweet to the ex and moms say nice things about you, about how good of a dad you were despite all of this craziness that went on when you were growing up, wouldn't that be nice? Remember, there's a whole life to live. And if you go dragging her ass into court and she then starts to manipulate the kid, let's say, then you got to deal with that. Chris says, bend the knee, eat her box if you have to, apologize and listen to her, and make sure she listens to you. Eat her box if you have to. Amanda says, yeah, Mariah's dad never could shelf his ego. Now she doesn't want anything to do with them. So keep that in mind. Oh, listen to that. I think what we can see here is all of the usual suspects are pointing out, I don't even have to do it anymore. They're all pointing out how 1,000,000% wrong Kenney is. And the people that I would expect who would say, if anyone is not saying anything right now, that's because they don't agree with Kenney. They just don't want to hurt his feelings more. Because Kenney can't hear this solid advice that we're giving and actually process it and go, maybe you're onto something. He's so goddamn stubborn that he's just going to call me names and be mean to me and tell me to fuck off because I'm making so much sense. And I don't understand why. Let's see. Tophus says, you'll get more time with your kid as opposed to dragging everyone to fucking court. Rich says you have to eat her box from the back if you have to. Oh, absolutely. Kenney says, Tyler, never once this morning was I trying to be stupid or funny like Eric. Remember that. Look, everybody here in the audience except you is smart enough to know when I'm actually trying to make sense and when I'm being an idiot. You don't have that ability. And the reason why is very simple. You are dumb. Okay? You're dumb. Kenney says, like I said, I actually have 50-50 custody of my daughter. Kenney, litigation, divorce, and relationships is not one size fits all. Okay? Every single one is different. There's so much we don't know about this scenario. And you're just saying, yeah, you sue, you get what you want. Yeah, I don't know that that's like a standard protocol. Chris writes, Kenney, you're not trying to be stupid, but you are only seeing things from your perspective. That's a nice way of saying how dumb you are. All right? Because only people who are dumb can't see or understand the common sense that I'm spewing out here. Only a person who's actually, legit dumb. Chris says, quote, I'm going to hit that cancel button there and say, fuck you, fuck your kids, hope they die, ALS, fuck your dogs, fucking hope they wind up in a meat grinder, hope a nuclear warhead goes off in front of your fucking house, fuck you, I'm out, fuck off and die. I'll be back 2 days later. All right. Tyler, you've got a lot to think about it. You have a lot to think about, I should say. And feel free to email me, and I will talk to you more about this. I'll even give you my phone number. But I will bet you $1 million that if you do what I told you to do and turn that around, and don't listen to fuckface Kenney. And quit getting pissed off and mad and just let it go. And then you're stepping over nickels to pick up dollars. Okay? big picture here. You'll get what you want in time. It just can't be right now. It's not. It doesn't work that way. Everything's gradual here. Or, so you can do it that way. Or you can do like fuckface Kenney and sue and put the kid in the middle because what's right and what's wrong, and you get 50-50 because Kenney got it. I don't know. Maybe Tyler's ex-wife is not retarded like the women you married. It's not my fault you're into retarded women. Kenney, when Kenney would go get his wives, he'd go to the Special Olympics. Hey, my look, if she does finish 100 meters in 15 minutes flat, I fucking love her. You see, now I'm kidding. This is the jokes part of it. Again, it's not our fault you married retards. You dumbass. Kenny's fixing his hair in the mirror. His mom and Kenney, what are you getting all fixed up for? Oh, there's fucking Jerry's kids is hanging out at the park this weekend. I'm about to go, fixing to go get me a new piece of pussy. Oh man, there's a fucking cerebral palsy convention going on downtown. I'm about to go eat some asshole, Mom. There's a Down syndrome mixer over at the VFW, Mom. I'm about to go eat some pussy. All right. Our work is done here. Our work is done. Before I go, I have to announce the asshole of the day. Last week, Friday, it was pedophile Michael Jackson. I don't know who it's going to be today. I have no idea. Probably me because I woke up late. Thank you to Green Medicine Shop. Online at thegreenmedicineshop.com. Medical cannabis dispensary in Greenville, Michigan. Cleaner pot, less money. Minus the 10% excise tax. If you don't have a med card, get it on their website, thegreenmedicineshop.com. That way it's free. Because it costs $90 to get the med card. They give you a $100 in-store credit. Thegreenmedicineshop.com. King's Room Barbershop, where guys and chicks who like short hair get their hair cut. King's Room Barbershop. 3 locations, Caledonia, Northland Drive, and at 821 36th Street in Wyoming. Kingsroom.net online. When it comes to health insurance or Medicare, Frank Fuss is the expert. If you have questions about getting a policy on healthcare.gov, it's as simple as reaching out to Frank. Buyinsurancehere.com, B-U-Y, insurancehere.com. Impact Power Sports. I was hanging with the folks from Impact Power Sports on Friday at the outdoor show. They're so great. Drew, Dad Ron, Kathy Mason, Lomas Brown. Hey, Dan! Guy's so big. I gave him the best compliment he said he's ever heard because I was standing next to Lomas Brown at the Impact Power Sports display. I go, you're so in shape that you look like a big quarterback. That's the best thing anybody ever told me. I go, what are you talking about? Well, that means I'm fit and strong, Dan. I go, you are, Lomas. Holy shit. Anyway, Impact Power Sports. ImpactPowersports.com is their website. You can visit it and see what they have to offer. Big this time of year, golf carts, Yamaha golf carts. Tyler says he's lost it at the cerebral palsy convention crack. Cole says, asshole of the day, everyone that is divorced and everyone that is a step parent. No. Tophus writes, gotta go find me a wife at the carnival near the pirate ship. She's gonna be some fine pussy. Sir Bob of Oliver has a quote from Patrice O'Neill. Dem titties ain't retarded. I've got a Vouch store. Vouch.store/Eric Zane. You can buy the dog food. You can buy the dog chews. You can buy the coffee. You can get the massager. You can get the booze. You can get the toothbrush. Vouch.store/Eric Zane. Thank you as well to Irvine's. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. 616-532-6600. All right. They are the best. Their website is irvines.com. ervines.com. Okay. Irvine's has so many 5-star reviews, and that's incredible. To have a 5-star average, you're pretty damn close after taking reviews for so long. That's because if there's ever anybody that has a not so great review, they fix it, and then the people change their review. So let's just say, for example, they got a customer who gives them a 1-star review, whatever happened. They then go and turn it around and they fix it. You know, there's something to be said when things don't go your way with not being a belligerent asshole. You know, you can get your way. I know sometimes I need to take my own advice, but that's true. I'm writing the asshole of the day out. The asshole of the day is brought to you by TC Paintball. Can anyone figure out why I'm laughing? It might have something to do with what I just wrote for the asshole of the day. The asshole of the day is Kenney for being a stubborn fuck / bad dad. That's it, motherfucker. Holy shit, you're fucking dead to me. I hate you. I hope you fucking die, motherfucker. Goddamn it, I hope you fucking... You got a damn fucking spinal contusion. Don't walk for the rest of your life, you crazy fucking son of a bitch. I hate you. That is your asshole of the day. You can kiss my $10 goodbye. All right. That'll do it. Thanks so much. That was a great job by all of you. Thanks, except Kenney. Horrible advice. Don't listen to Kenney ever about anything. Until next time, thank you, folks. In fact, I'm going to start Patreon. I'm going to go pee, and then I'm going to do Patreon. I'm not even going to wait. It's happening right now. Madonna, fucking the thing she said, basketball team, all that shit. It's going on in minutes.